There's someone in every room who doesn't talk much. They don't interrupt. They don't explain themselves. They don't compete for attention. And because of that, people underestimate them. They're labeled as shy, passive, awkward, unimportant, sometimes even invisible. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to face. The people who rarely speak are often the ones who see everything. And that makes them dangerous, not in loud ways, but in silent ones. Because silence is never empty. It's full of observation. The social myth. Loud equals powerful. From a young age, we're taught something subtle but powerful. If you want to matter, speak up. If you want to belong, be expressive. If you want to survive socially, explain yourself. So when someone doesn't do that, we assume something is missing. Confidence, competence, authority. But psychology shows the opposite. Silence isn't the absence of power. It's often the containment of it. People who speak less aren't disengaged, they're filtering. Number 1. Silence is a survival strategy. Many quiet people didn't choose silence randomly. They learned it. They learned that speaking too much invited judgment, that explaining themselves invited misunderstanding, that expressing emotions invited rejection. So they adapted. They watched first. They listened longer. They spoke only when necessary. This isn't weakness, it's pattern recognition shaped by experience. Silence becomes protection, and protection sharpens awareness. Number 2. Quiet people see power dynamics clearly. When you're not busy talking, you're noticing. You notice tone shifts, micro-expressions, who dominates the room, who pretends to listen, who performs confidence. Quiet people often understand the emotional architecture of a space better than anyone else. They know who is insecure, who is pretending, who needs validation. And knowing that is a form of power, because people reveal more when they think you're not paying attention. Number 3. Silence triggers insecurity in others. Here's something deeply uncomfortable. Silence makes people anxious. When someone doesn't explain themselves, others start filling the gaps. Do they judge me? Do they think they're better than me? Why aren't they reacting? The quiet person becomes a mirror, and most people don't like what they see reflected back. So they project. They label silence as arrogance, or weakness, or coldness. But projection only happens when something inside feels threatened. Number 4. The quiet ones are emotionally regulated. Speaking less often means reacting less often, and reacting less is one of the strongest signs of emotional regulation. Quiet people don't waste energy on every provocation. They don't feel the need to correct every misunderstanding. They don't chase validation through constant expression. They choose their moments, and that restraint makes their words heavier when they finally speak. Number 5. Silence holds psychological boundaries. People who talk constantly often reveal everything: their fears, their insecurities, their strategies. Quiet people don't. They protect their inner world. That creates unpredictability, and unpredictability is psychologically powerful because people can't manipulate what they don't understand. Silence creates distance, and distance creates authority. Number 6. Why quiet people are hard to control. Control relies on reaction. If someone reacts emotionally, you can steer them. If someone explains themselves, you can argue. If someone seeks approval, you can withhold it. Quiet people don't offer those entry points. They don't give emotional leverage. They don't negotiate their worth. That makes them difficult to dominate. And systems built on dominance find that threatening. Number 7. Silence often comes from deep thinking. Many quiet people aren't empty. They're full of layered thinking, full of internal dialogue, full of processing. They don't speak quickly because they think deeply. They don't react immediately because they analyze.
They understand consequences. And people who understand consequences are rarely impulsive. They're strategic. The misunderstanding. Quiet doesn't mean passive. There's a dangerous assumption society makes that quiet people won't act, but silence doesn't mean inaction. It means delayed action. When quiet people decide, it's usually final. They don't threaten, they don't warn loudly, they don't posture. They observe, they calculate, they move once. And that decisiveness is what makes them powerful. Deep psychology. Why silence feels unsafe to others. Humans crave predictability. Noise gives predictability. Silence removes it. When someone is quiet, you don't know their intentions, and the unknown activates fear centers in the brain. That's why silence feels intimidating, not because it's aggressive, but because it's unreadable, and unreadable people hold psychological leverage. The identity wound, when you're the quiet one. If you're someone who rarely speaks, you've probably felt misunderstood, overlooked, talked over, dismissed. You may have questioned yourself. Should I be louder? Should I explain more? Is something wrong with me? But the truth is this: your silence isn't absence, it's containment. You don't owe the world constant access to your thoughts. You don't owe people explanations to earn respect. Reframe. Silence as power, not deficiency. Power isn't volume, it's control. Control of attention, control of reaction, control of access. Quiet people already possess this, they just don't advertise it. And the most powerful traits rarely announce themselves, they operate quietly. The permission to stay quiet. You don't need to be louder to be respected. You don't need to explain yourself to be valid. You don't need to perform to belong. Your silence isn't a flaw, it's a boundary. And people who respect boundaries are the ones who truly hold power.
If you love new knowledge to improve your life, hit subscribe now.